Okay. Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the May 13th meeting of the Rhinebeck Village Board. First item on the agenda is our county legislator, Joel Tyner.
Want to take my So the first thing I want to invite you all to is next Wednesday, just across the way at Town Hall, I'm hosting a free screening of a movie. It's a documentary film called Under Our Skin. The website is underourskin.com. It's about Lyme disease and tick-borne disease, and May is Lyme Disease Awareness Month. If you missed the top of the front page of Saturday's Poughkeepsie Journal, it's still a really big problem that all too often Lyme disease and tick-borne disease is not diagnosed or treated properly, and there's too many games with HMOs in the insurance industry. So I have 440 people from all over the region signed on to a petition. You can see their names and their comments saying, New York State should be like Rhode Island and Connecticut. Make sure that doctors are protected if they want to fully treat Lyme. And also, if you have health insurance, your health insurance should cover just 3 or 4 weeks of antibiotics. Terry Gibson, former trustee on this board, has really picked up the torch on this. He's sponsoring legislation to make sure that the health insurance issues are addressed, a number of other things. Anyway, Jill Auerbach, who's the chair of the Hudson Valley Lyme Disease Association, she's going to be a speaker, I believe, and that's next Wednesday, May 22nd, 5:30, Rhinebeck Town Hall. And Dr. Stephen Bach, who has an office here in Rhinebeck and Albany. He's one of the few Lyme-literate doctors around. He's going to be speaking as well during the discussion and the Q&A. So put that on your calendars. You don't want to miss it. Next Wednesday, May 22nd, 5:30 p.m. across the street, Rhinebeck Town Hall. That's number one. Number two, I just want to invite, if you are a graduating high school senior from Rhinebeck High, or if you know any graduating seniors from Rhinebeck High, I'm doing my 10th annual Dutchess County Legislature District 11 essay contest. It's 500 words or less on what you would do if you were me, and I need that in by June 15th. And I give out $100 prizes, $100 savings bonds. That's joeltyner@earthlink.net, or you can just bring it to the high school main office, send it to the county legislature offices down in Poughkeepsie. That's 500 words or less. What would you do if you were a county legislator? By June 15th, joeltyner@earthlink.net. The Poughkeepsie Journal has done a ton of editorials for well testing legislation when properties change hands. East Fishkill has it, Wappinger has it, New Jersey has it, Westchester, Rockland. A number of us are trying to dredge this up again this spring, this summer. So if you would like to see that passed, please contact me, 876-2488, 453-2105. We're trying to build a grassroots swell. The gas station in Rhinebeck, not in the village, but in the town, the Getty gas station, was found 6 months after MTBE was banned from being put into our gasoline. The well water at the 99G gas station was found to have 55 parts per billion. That was 6 months after MTBE had been banned. And with all due respect to the DEC, all too often the groundwater is not fully remediated. It's not cleaned up when these spills happen. Today's Poughkeepsie Journal has a great piece from my colleague Francina Amparo about how we can move towards zero waste. The solid waste management plan for Dutchess County talks about 60% recycling rate by 2021. That's about 3 times what we have now. If we're going to do that, it might not be the wisest thing to do to sell off the only recycling infrastructure the county owns, which is what just happened last month. So we're trying to say, why can't we use the proceeds for that, the $600,000? We tried to get it onto the agenda for this month. It wasn't allowed on the agenda. But use that to help the villages and the cities and the towns and the school districts and the private sector ramp up the recycling. So just wanted to point that out. We could use your help getting that resolution passed. The jail issue. I'm inviting everybody, no matter how you feel about this issue. It looks like on Tuesday, May 28th at 5 p.m., Committee of the Whole of the County Legislature, members of the public, unfortunately, not allowed to speak at that, but right after that, there's going to be a public safety committee at which members of the public can speak. And I would just remind you that if you look at Westchester County, if you look at Albany County, if you look at Brooklyn, they're doing things with reentry that are saving tax dollars and addressing jail overcrowding, aside from spending a lot of money on a jail expansion we don't need. cutting the recidivism rate from 68% to 9% up in Albany County, saving $14 million a year. If you go to pyhit.com, if you look at the ComAlert system of reentry in Brooklyn. And last but not least, the New York State Public Service Commission website, it looks like they're still accepting public comments to stop the Central Hudson Fortis deal. More and more folks, Republicans and Democrats, are hopping on board that. It's secretary@dps.ny.gov. Secretary@dps.ny.gov. And the New York Times also on Saturday had a big front piece, 400 parts per million CO2 in the atmosphere. A lot of different communities, Seattle, San Francisco, Boulder, Colorado, Eugene, Oregon, a lot of different communities are divesting from the fossil fuel industry. Dutchess County has a $100 million account with TD Bank, Toronto Dominion Bank, that's pushing for this tar sands, unfortunately, to be mined from Canada. So anyway, questions, comments, concerns, thank you for your patience. I got to run to the Clinton Town Board meeting. I'm at 876-2488. Hope to see everybody next Wednesday, 5:30, May 22nd, across the hallway. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Joel. Okay, we had a request from our friends and neighbors from Oak Street to speak with us. And before we move into our department reports, I know you people want to stay the entire meeting and be put under other business, right?
You still can stay, though.
Surely I jest. We will take this opportunity now to address your concerns. Michael had come in the office yesterday and shared a letter with me and said that you folks would be here tonight, so you have the floor.
I'll read my letter first. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Gee. I live at 15 Oak Street. Lived there for 30 years. This series of information came about a few weeks ago when I was walking to the library and passed Chris Chesney at the funeral home, and he said to me, "It looks like a homeless shelter across the street." And I looked, and it did look like one. So I said, let's get on the agenda. So we got on the agenda, and then I started Googling, and I found a lot of stuff, and I came in here and I read the record on the property for the last 40 years, and I found a lot more stuff, and I'll read my letter because there's more stuff we can get to. We write to inform you of a series of recently occurring events within the village that demand the immediate attention of our elected public officials. Unbeknownst to both village residents and the public officials, a facility has begun operation that presents multiple public safety risks to both the local residents and businesses. Specifically, importantly, with neither prior notice nor subsequent approval, the Dutchess County Department of Mental Hygiene has ceased operations at their 47 West Market Street facility and transferred control of the building to 3 separate entities, each with very different missions and services than that of the county. It's these different missions and services that present the aforementioned risks. History of 47 Market Street. The building was originally an A&P grocery store that closed in the late 1960s. 3 attempts in the early 70s for new businesses were disallowed by the village because they were considered too intrusive to the neighborhood. The precluded businesses were a car repair facility, a machine shop, and an electronics factory. On April 17, 1975, the Village Planning Board granted approval to the County Department of Mental Hygiene for a facility to treat 20 to 25 mentally challenged adults with 6 to 7 employees and parking for 25 cars. While the county facility presented a change to the local environment, they were during that time good neighbors. There was 35 feet of woods for screening, there were flower and vegetable gardens. The clients spent a lot of time indoors, fully supervised. 47 West Market Street was a quiet site. There were few incidents, but isolated, and those that did occur presented only the occasional minor inconvenience of the neighbors' quiet enjoyment. In late 1988, approval was granted to renovate the site. Soon thereafter, additional office space for the employees was constructed. During the approval process for that addition, the Village Water Department received a letter from an architect, Al Cornicini, stating that the site had 60 to 70 clients and a staff of 20. This record indicates the county had increased the use of the facility by 300% without village approval. Even with that increase in services, the traffic generated by the county operation consisted of 2 loop buses and 6 county vans, ordinarily arriving at 9 a.m. and departing at 2:30. This increase from the previous approval had a minor impact on the neighborhood. Importantly, for the purposes of this letter, there is still no compliance with that 1988 site plan. We list as examples dumpster placement, gazebo in the side yard buffer area, non-existent trees and shrubs, and final paving of the parking lot. These, while not ignorable violations, are by far the least of the problems presented by the changes in operation. 47 West Market Street is now run by private, not-for-profit corporation and is also used as an outpatient substance abuse treatment and rehabilitation center. Beginning in the winter of 2012, neighbors began to notice lacking maintenance at 47 West Market Street. For example, during snowfalls, the sidewalk would remain uncleared in violation of village ordinances. In late summer of 2012, neighbors took notice that more individuals were congregating on the street and sidewalk, generally loitering and smoking. The smell of marijuana is sometimes noticeable, and some have been observed holding small pipes, clear indicia of drug use. My own personal attempts to learn about the change to the facility are as follows. In or around July of 2012, I went inside and spoke with the site administrator about one of the clients wandering onto my property and peering into my garage window. He shared my concern and said they would address the situation. He also informed me the facility would be changing soon and I would probably see less people and less problems. On a Friday in the latter half of 2012, the County Mental Hygiene Department vacated the premises. They transferred, laid off, or retired the staff and most of the clients that had been going there. Those clients went to other places except for a handful or less. The following Monday, 3 new not-for-profit 501c3 corporations came into the building. Occupation Inc. PROS program, and it's a very big corporation with lots of subsidiaries and titles, Hudson Valley Mental Health, and Lexington Center for Recovery. These new businesses had no approvals, they gave no announcements. They're having a very dramatic and negative effect on our community. The primary focus of these 3 new corporations is drug and substance abuse rehabilitation. 47 West Market Street has become a medical facility in the central business districts next to a residential neighborhood. The public safety risk presented by 47 West Market Street's new role is obvious and is now used as a drop-off point for those sentenced to diversion treatment under New York's penal law. The previous clients came from area group homes. The new clients are coming from Poughkeepsie and Kingston and are brought in by taxi services throughout the day. There are dozens of taxis arriving and departing between 8:30 and 4 p.m., and many of them drive on Oak Street and beyond the speed limit. This is unsafe for the children and families who live and or walk on Oak Street. At least 6 employees park on Oak Street instead of using their parking lot, and this decreases sight lines to the corner of the street. An internet search of the businesses occupying 47 West Market Street reveals the following from their web pages. The PROS, which stands for Personalized Recovery-Oriented Services Program, offers intensive rehabilitation services to assist individuals in attaining specific life roles, reduce the risk of relapse, hospitalization, loss of housing, or involvement with the criminal justice system. Clinical services are available to individuals for psychopharmacology, as well as groups with individual therapy. Services are provided to adults with mental illnesses transitioning from jail, prison, or a psychiatric hospital, and those who are homeless and living with serious behavioral health needs. Hudson Valley's mental health website lists Rhinebeck as one of 5 chemical dependency sites having outpatient detox services. Lexington Center is a drug and substance abuse treatment facility. Methadone and buprenorphine are used in the treatment of their outpatient care. Unlike the county mental hygiene department, these new companies have a different approach in how their clients are managed. Now clients receive services when they enter the building voluntarily. If they do not enter the building, no management, control, or supervision is given to them. The clients can wander, sit listlessly, sleep on the sidewalk, and or engage in offensive conversations. Without fail, each and every day that the weather allows, clients of the facility will sit, with some even sleeping, on the sidewalks of both Market and Oak Street. The risks presented and violations documented demand village officials take immediate action. How does one rehabilitate people with substance abuse problems when no requirements are made for them to be involved in intense therapy? The neighbors near 47 West Market Street question why this place is allowed in a village center business district contiguous with a residential neighborhood. Such facility obviously demands secure policies to ensure the safety of the Rhinebeck residents. It's ironic that if this building needed a liquor license, there would be a public hearing and formal regulations adhered to. People with substance abuse problems from Dutchess and Ulster County come to Rhinebeck for treatment, and there is no control, no knowledge, and no oversight. We ask this board to investigate, monitor, and return our neighborhood to a place of safety and peace. That's my letter. I also gave you a list today of Of the 45 people who signed my petition, I've gone around in the last few days, just a list of observations, encounters, incidents, and things that have been going on since these corporations come in here. And I ask you to basically investigate fully and don't be fooled by very warm home web pages. If you go deep into these web pages and see what they're doing, we have basically become a dumping ground for people with substance abuse, and they're not being monitored, they're not being secured, they're not being, no one knows, and they're wandering the streets. And Rhinebeck Daytop in eastern Rhinebeck, when those people were leaving and burglarizing the homes, they realized we can't protect our neighbors and we're going to close. So I hope you'll do something for us like you did the last time I was here 3 years ago, because we have a really nice neighborhood, and this is a problem for all of us, not just me or Oak Street. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. I will state that I did notice a change in clientele. I was totally unaware there was a change in the operation. I was under the assumption the county was still there, and I think we all were. And
I went to the county's website today. They list it as being one of theirs that they give services to until you read the fine print, and it says if you don't see DCM in front of it, it's not theirs.
so the point being is that we've noticed a change in the people that are going to the facility. A couple of people have spoken to me, and at the time what I said to them was, if you have an issue with any of these people, you need to call the police department immediately, and we will take action. You know, we've had problems with people that were at the county facility before, and we took the necessary legal action. One gentleman ended up being incarcerated. The point being is that we weren't aware of the change, and I want to thank you for bringing the change to our attention. And what we will do now from this point is hand this over to Bob Fennell, the zoning enforcement officer. He will contact the property owner. He will find out what the arrangement is as far as the organizations that are in this facility, because as you pointed out in your letter, there's been a change of use here. That's in violation of the zoning code. So we have to go through the legal process. I've talked with Mr. Olson, the village attorney, about it, and we will begin the process, and Bob will look into it the way he needs to as far as the zoning aspect goes, and we'll take whatever action that is necessary to correct the problem. Could you please come to the microphone and state your name? This is all for the public record.
All right. I live at the top of Oak Street.
State your name, please.
Sally Lyon, 33 Oak Street. Anyway, a lot of people that visit and stay at the Beekman Arms and all of the other little units they have, they walk around that block. And it's probably not a good image for Rhinebeck, you know, walking. Because they don't just walk in the evening, they walk around that block off and on all day. And it just doesn't present a very good picture of Rhinebeck at this point.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, my name's Kathy Brzee. I live at 18 Oak Street. And a few weeks ago, we have packages delivered from UPS, and sometimes my husband and I are home, and sometimes we're not. But one day I did come home, and there was a package on the front porch, and I looked at it, and it looked like it had been partially opened, and it was empty. And I really didn't think anything of it at the time until Mike had told me that someone, another neighbor in our neighborhood, had packages rifled with. So this is another problem. I mean, sometimes these things happen and you don't see these people doing it. So it's like that was just seemed to me like a isolated incident, just something that happened with a package. So, you know, our properties are being invaded. I spend a lot of time in my backyard, so I don't always see what's going on in the front, but I've started keeping all my doors locked even if I'm out in the backyard. But again, sometimes we don't notice that these people are doing things, so I just wanted to make you aware of that also.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, if I do see somebody, I would call the police, but you don't always know.
Right. And, you know, what I will say, too, is if you folks have concerns, bring them to us. We're here to help you. You know, our job I'm sure you've all heard me say it before, the number one responsibility of myself and this board is to protect the safety and the welfare of this community. We made a significant investment to build a police station, you know. We take this very seriously, so if you ever have any problems or concerns, you can reach out to us. Do not hesitate to call the police department. That's the first thing you should do. Call the police department, because those people are here to serve you, all right? And we'll take whatever action we can take to make this problem go away and be fixed. Go ahead, Sharon.
My husband's being shot. Sharon Rushton, 12 Oak Street. We had someone walk in our backyard the other day, and my husband just happened to be home, thank goodness. And he was saying he had thought he had worked on our house before, and he was obviously under the influence of something, because we've been living there for 5 years, so I don't know when he thought he worked on this house. That was kind of disturbing. The other thing that's happened is a little vandalism around. You don't notice it for a while. I have a Lumina, and in my Lumina on the front tires and the hubcaps are the Chevy signs. Well, those have been removed. And you have to play with it to get it out. It just doesn't fall out of your car. It wasn't like I had work on my tires. One disappeared one week, and one disappeared another week. I work in Poughkeepsie. I work in a gated parking lot. I have a security guard. I know it didn't happen there. And everywhere else I've been, the only place I've ever noticed it, I noticed it at home. So we're a little nervous. I don't like people laying on the street, taking a nap. Of course, as you know, I'm not shy, and I will tell them to go back to where they need to be. I've already talked to the people that run the facility, have told them I'm a county employee and a resident of Oak Street, and that I am sick and tired of watching Medicaid patients coming to the program and then not going to program. And as far as I'm concerned, that's Medicaid fraud. They accept their Medicaid responsibility the minute they get in those taxi cabs, because that's being paid for Medicaid transportation also. So that's a point I made to that director, and her response is, I can't force the consumers to come to program. Well, I would like you to supervise the consumers that are under your care. And if not, I consider that Medicaid fraud. Just a point I wanted to make.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jill?
Jill Myers, 27 West Chestnut. I'd just like to reemphasize what Mike said as far as the cabs. I live right on the top of West Chestnut and Oak, and I didn't realize the change, but I did notice the number of cabs speeding, truly wheelies around all day. And I know there was a bit ago when we had police officers, we complained about speeding and not stopping at the stop sign, and you had signs up a little bit, the blinking things, so maybe you can do something like that. And it's pretty much two cab companies. They're all over. It's rough. And I stopped walking by it because of the smoke, because of the gentlemen sitting around, and the filth. And it's really sad what's happened in a short period of time.
Okay. Maureen?
Maureen Gregory, 2 Prospect Street. I just wanted to concur with what was just said, and the speed with which the cabs are driving up West Chestnut Street is really scary. And I wanted to point out to you, if you don't know this, that we now have at least 3 families with very, very small children in the neighborhood, which is great, and it's great fun, but because we have no sidewalk on West Chestnut Street, people have to walk in the street, and it has become unsafe to do that with the speed at which the cabs are literally, I totally concur, wheelies, they're flying up and down West Chestnut, and everyone takes West Chestnut to avoid the light. So I just wanted to point that out to you.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll follow through from our end.
Thank you.
Thank you. As I said, don't hesitate to reach out to us at any time. Thanks for coming in, folks.
Thank you.
Okay, department reports. Wastewater, Brant?
For April, wastewater treated, 3.6 million gallons. Gallons of sludge process, 88,440. Pounds of sludge process, 11,300 pounds. Cubic yards of sludge process, 23.1. We expect the shipment of the sludge press to be around May 22nd. The sludge press installation project should commence about 2 weeks after that. We're going to have temporary wet sludge removal during the construction phase, so Anthony Gasparini is here tonight, and he is getting bids on temporary sludge removal. We are going to, Ira Conklin is going to remove that tank any day now. I don't know if they come out yet, or if they commenced the work on that, or, yeah, you can.
Good evening, folks. Anthony Gasparini. I'm happy to report that Ira Conklin started work yesterday. The tank has been removed. Appears to be no soil remediation needed at this time. They're following the contract. The excavation's been backfilled properly. They're going to be forming and pouring the slab for the new tank tomorrow. There's been a temporary tank located, a 550-gallon tank, for the use of the emergency generator at this time. So hopefully, probably about this time next week, the job will be completed. I'm soliciting bids for the hauling of the wet sludge, as Brent had just previously spoke about. I anticipate hopefully the work to start on the sludge press around the first week in June. I haven't heard anything rock solid, but that's what we're looking at right now.
So I asked Anthony to come tonight because we got the bid. He got the bids on the lawnmowers, and I think you're all had a chance to.
Yep, I looked them over.
At this. We got
Looks good.
a bid from Keel, 48-inch deck lawnmower for $4,749. A John Deere. From Reardon Briggs Lawn and Garden, no relation or?
No relation.
I'm just kidding.
No need to recuse.
A Cub Cadet
Unless they want to share the money with me.
for $4,850. And then we had two different, well, you can go on to detail about the Conway's bid.
Conway Lawn and Power submitted 2 bids to us, actually 1 bid with 2 pieces of equipment. The first piece of equipment didn't meet our bid specifications because it was a lighter duty lawn and garden tractor than we really needed. And the last one was bid with a 52-inch mower deck, and that's the smallest in width that's available. And again, that did not meet our bid criteria because we needed a maximum of 48-inch. The other 2 comparable ones, as Brant spoke about, was the Keel equipment, which is the John Deere Series X500, which is I want to point out, is a multi-terrain tractor. It's a 24 horsepower with the 48-inch deck. The Club Cadet is pretty much comparable, but I believe besides price, we'll put the John Deere shifted the weight in terms of selecting that vehicle for the work is because of the inclines we have at the wastewater plant. If you notice, it has a multi-terrain. It actually has a locking differential on the rear wheels, which gives you posi traction when you perform incline work. Also, if you look at the specifications, the tires on the equipment is actually a little bit bigger than the Club Cadet, and I felt that it was the better application for providing lawn mowing at the wastewater plant.
Make a motion, Brent.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion that we approve the bid from Keel for the John Deere Select Series X500 multi-terrain tractor, $4,749.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted.
Thank you. Any more questions or the board has of me? Or?
That's all I have for now.
Good.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks,
Have a good
Anthony.
Thanks for
evening.
coming.
all-
Oh, no, I have one more question. The extension for Kyle Moore,
Yes.
Or did you, Lisa, did you look into the requirements for that
He's extended for another 30 days.
automatically, or we don't have to vote on that?
No, you don't have to. You can automatically extend him.
Okay.
And his last day, I might just point out, with that 30-day extension, it would be June 5th, I believe.
If there is, I mean, if you need to extend them again, we call Dutchess County personnel. You have to give them a reason as to why you want to extend them.
Okay.
They may approve it, they might not approve it, but as long as you have a reason.
Okay, then, sounds good.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks again.
Thanks,
Take care.
Anthony. Okay, Water Department, Heinz.
We treated about 11 million and 54,000 gallons this month. We received the bids for pipe and painting and of the galley and painting of selected pipes of the low lift station. The bids came in quite surprisingly. We got 4 bids. One of them was for roughly about $29,000, and the others were all in the $78,000 to $79,000 range. Upon receiving the bids, we called back on the low bidder, and they reiterated that that's what they want the bid to be, and we also went out to ask for references, and we checked the references out, and the references came in all well. So I'd like to make a motion to, oh, by the way, I have added in your package, there should be a bid package in there, how they came in, and a letter from the engineer. But essentially, I want to make a motion to accept the bid for $29,100 by Frank J. Ryan and Sons to paint the pipes in the galley, to paint the galley itself, and to paint selected pipes in the low lift station.
Is there a second? Any discussion? You drive a hard bargain.
Yeah, well, it was good.
There's quite a discrepancy between the...
Yes, it was, and that's why we.
As I say, he drives a hard bargain.
We went back to check with the low bidder.
To make sure they didn't make a mistake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Water distribution system.
hang on, we got to vote. We got to vote?
Oh, I thought you did.
No, we haven't voted.
We're discussing it.
Motion and a second.
Sorry.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So voted. Okay, go ahead.
The second item is, you told me to hurry up. So I'm trying to-
Well, you want us to vote, don't you?
Hydrants, fire hydrants. We replaced a fire hydrant on Montgomery Street and West Market Street, right on the corner here. We repaired a broken hydrant on a cul-de-sac on Somers. The South Parsonage water main water main relocation project is all completed, and we should be getting the last payment. Oh, thank you, sir. On the other hand, when I was on vacation last week, 1/4 of my department retired.
Oh, boy.
So Greg Johnson tendered in his resignation to retire on the 6/29. He's going to leave at 6/8 here. A couple of other things I'm working.
So everybody understands, his last day of work will be 6/8, but he won't officially retire until 6/29.
I have a couple of other, well, actually one major initiative going, which has to do with reducing the electric power that the village consumes in many of its endeavors. One of them has to do with the street lights, the other one with changing the suppliers of our power to get better rates, and the third one has to do in the water plant to change the control system for the motors, because these motors use a lot of power. I had spoken to that before. What I want to talk to you about today mainly is discussions I had with Central Hudson, and I'm talking there with the director of large customer. His name is Mark Mulpeter, and we talked about replacing about 115, 116 or so lights, and these are all mercury vapor lights. and they consume about twice as much power as the regular pipes that you see everywhere else, which are sodium-based, high-pressure sodium-based lamps. Now, the savings there are both in terms of the rental cost, because Central Hudson rents almost all of them, with the exception of 14s. We own 14 lamps here, and then the power. And as an example, I made a model based on February's bill, and just changing these 115, 16 lights would have saved us about $636 just by changing the lights. Central Hudson will replace them free of charge. They will not charge for labor or for the hardware. And the only thing is, they're gonna do that at night when they replace them, and it said it's gonna take a number of months to do that, to replace all of these.
The cost savings, Heinz, that was for 1 month?
That was for 1 month, yeah. Now, this happens to be a month where you have the lights on a lot, okay? But I would, my estimated guess is that we probably save about, on average, $500 a month for 12 months, so that's about $6,000 a year, just for street lighting, okay? Now, what needs to be done here is, I had the last discussion was this morning with him, and Mark wants to know whether this is something we want to do, because he has to start a lot of paperwork, and it'll take him, he said, 6 weeks to get the paperwork in place and then get the program started, and he needs a letter from you, Jim, to do that, and I can write it for you and get it to you, okay?
I mean, I don't see any
So
problem.
I assume we want to do that. So I came in last night from Minneapolis, and I looked when I got into Albany. They all have sodium vapor lights. They all have these orange kind of lights. There's very few mercury lamps.
We could have a heck of a party for $6,000.
We can have an orange party here. Right.
Yeah, how do you tell?
I'm sorry? You can, because as you come down, you see that it's all orange. Mm-hmm. You know, everything is orange, except the mercury lights. They are kind of whitish, bluish, and they use about twice as much power as the other ones. So the second item I'm working on, and I'm not completely done with this, but I thought I'd give you an update, and I want to just give you some paper here on that. That has to do with...
One other thing.
Yeah.
The idea of the LEDs, that's just not feasible at this time?
Well, good question. I had talked to, Jim had mentioned that years ago, Central Hudson wanted to have, had a plan in place where they replaced LEDs. They had the pilot project going on in New Windsor and at Bard College. And when I approached Mark Mulper again to remind him of that, he said, well, I don't remember that. And I said, well, I happen to have a flyer here from you, so I scanned it, sent it to him, and says, oh yeah, now I remember.
Newsletter.
That's right. Now I remember. This was a newsletter that we sent out in 2010, and it turned out that the maintenance cost of these LEDs was exceedingly high. They were supposed to last 15 years. They only lasted 2 years. Now, the LEDs, you get even more savings on power, but apparently that technology is not a viable technology.
Not if you have to continually replace them.
Okay. So, and the next item I wanted to talk to you is about the alternative power that I've been working on for a number of months here, and I just want you to get an update where I stand. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and one for you. Essentially, what I have done is I contacted 6 companies to find out what the rate reduction would be if we were to contract with another power supplier. Now, it turns out I looked at our bills here, and if you look at the second page, I made a comparison of, we have about 15 or so Central Hudson bills that we get as a village. And I had, and there's the account number, the meter number, the various rates, and the kilowatt hours that we use in the billing period. Now, some of the billing periods are 1 month and others are 2 months, and I normalized that, so it is actually per month. There is a total column, which is the total cost of the electricity plus the distribution charges. In other words, Central Hudson charges you a connection fee, they charge you a fee for using their power lines, and then they charge you for the cost of the electricity itself. And so the total column is the total cost that we paid in February 2013 for these various entities that we get billed on. And it happens to be about $13,600 roughly. Of that, the Central Hudson supply charge was, for 1 month, was $8,600 roughly. When I went to the various companies to get an idea what we would save in terms of using them as a broker, so to speak, it turned out that the first company was Agway Energy, and they wouldn't even want to talk to me. They want to give me just a 1 month teaser rate, and that was it. While I also checked out with the PSC, they have a listing of complaint rates against some of these alternative power suppliers, and they had a fairly low complaint rate. On the other hand, they wouldn't tell me what they can do for me in periods of a year. But in other words, I could not compare the Central Hudson rate for years, for a 12-month period versus their rates. So to me, that I don't like. I talked to a company called Alpha Gas and Electric, and they promised me a lot of savings. They said every 12 months we get a free electric bill. It turns out they were only in business for 8 months at a time, and but they got they had also the highest complaint rating in there. When I talked to them, it felt like a boiler room kind of a thing. Ambit Energy. I called them. They had a medium complaint rating. Nobody picked up the phone, and nobody ever called me back. Blue Rock, I had a fellow here from
So
Blue
that
Rock.
made it a high complaint rating.
That was yes. Well,
in your mind.
In my mind, right. The Blue Rock was here, and but they only offered me a 1%, and I said, well, this is hardly worth it. He came down from Albany, the fellow, and so on. North American Power just offered, they had a medium complaint rating and offered me, they had no history, just an introductory rate, like you get 1 cent off, the first month and something like that. The one that I really liked and was Viridian. They had also one of the lowest complaint ratings, and they had almost 2 years worth of data that I could go back and compare to the data with Central Hudson. And with them, then I used their data and made that list here that you have, that spreadsheet for the comparison for the February 2013. And that particular month showed almost a 33% saving in just on the power, which would be about $2,500, almost $3,000 on that particular month.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the difference between this column and this column?
This is what our bills were. This is normalized on a monthly basis. With other words, some of them are 2 months, and some of them are 1 month. This is a 2 months bill. This is a 2 months bill. This is a 1 month bill, and so on. So I just normalized 1 month. Okay. So that the biggest users, of course, is the water department and the sewer department, as you can see here. But anyway, so we, in that particular month of February 2013, we could have saved 33% of the energy bill. Now, when you go back and then I looked back over the whole period of years, these are market-determined charges, the electricity. So, we don't have much control over it. Every month they change a little bit and so on. But if you look over a period of time, in that case I looked at about 15 or 16 months, it looked like there's still about a 10 to 11% savings every month. Now, it could be that at 1 month or so they're higher. As a matter of fact, they had a chart here that shows that one month it spiked up like a half a cent or something above Central Hudson rate. Central Hudson tells me they're buying their power and they don't add any surcharges for it, but I don't know where they buy their power from. You know, these guys are power brokers. They buy wherever they can get. They get the cheapest line. If we were to decide to take these, this company, there's no additional work involved for us. The billing is going to be the same. The billing comes from Central Hudson, and the bills will be the same. I had sent a copy of their contract to Rich here, and Rich gave me a couple of questions on that. Particularly, one of them was, do we want to have a variable rate or a fixed rate? And I certainly would want a variable rate, because on a fixed rate, you always pay for the hedging of it, because they hedge their price, and you pay for the hedge. Okay, and in general, I found I like to have a variable thing, so I have a control over what it is, because we never know. Usually you win with a variable rate compared to a fixed rate, unless you have to make a, you have a variable income stream and you've got to be in a certain, you have to have a predictable cost every month. There's a couple of other questions came up from Rich, and at the same time I sent the contract to Rich, I also sent it to Mark Mulpeter, who again is the Director of Large Customer Operations. Central Hudson, by the way, is interested in getting rid of their business, the electricity selling business. They just want to control the pipelines. They just want to distribute it. And he said he was going to wanted to look it over for me. Unfortunately, I sent it to him early this morning, and he had some personal issues to take care of, but he's going to get back with me within a day or two. And then I'm going to talk again to this fellow, Viridian, to talk about the issues that Rich had and whatever Mark Mulpeter comes in. So I just wanted to get you up to speed of where we are. I think we are within a week or two of selecting somebody. I don't know exactly what we have to do as a board to change our supplier. Maybe nothing, I don't know.
Authorize the signing of the contract, so.
Yeah, okay.
You don't need a resolution to do that.
Okay, so maybe we can meet sometime if you want to.
If you want to do it, we'll schedule a special meeting.
Yeah, okay.
We'll just come in for a few minutes to do that.
As far as the...
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
One line that says the total's $13,599.
Yeah, that is the total.
That's what we actually paid.
That's what we actually paid. That is the distribution and the cost of energy charge plus the connection charges.
This was just for the supply.
Okay, so we're still going to have distribution charges.
We still have distribution charges. Yeah. Now I'm working on the distribution charges as well, and that is mostly with the water department, because in the water department, distribution charge has to do with the instantaneous amount of power that we're sucking out of the line. Like if we start our 100 horsepower motors, they take 1100 amps. And the Central Hudson charges you, they check you, by the second, and then they take the highest amperage of the day, and then they charge you for the whole day.
That's why you don't want to turn your air conditioner on the last day of the month, because you pay the whole month.
Yeah. So see the next column says 9,028.
That is
that's the supply out of this total.
That is the supply. That's
subtract that and you get the distribution charges.
Distribution charges. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Water plant motor control, which is the third one, which addresses the issue of instantaneous usage of power for large systems. I've been talking to a number of vendors who build control systems. I have another meeting on Thursday with a local Poughkeepsie operation, and I am actually slowing this down a little bit because I'm in the middle of getting this whole water plant painted on the bottom, and I have to get it painted and cleaned out first before we can think about putting a system in there to control our power surges and so on. So I'll get back with you on that at a later time. So that's all I have for today.
Okay. Fire department. Heath, what do you got?
All right, I'll start by saying Jim and I attended a fire commissioner training on Saturday, and that certainly feel more prepared to do this job now. I learned a lot. Next, we'll go into a bunch of numbers here. We missed March last month. So EMS calls for the town, 10, village 23, for a total of 33. Fire, 10 for the town, 7 for the village, and 17 total. Motor vehicle, 3 for the town, 0 for the village, and 3 for a total. That would be March totals of 23 for the town, 30 for the village, and 53 total calls for March. On to April, we'd have EMS 23 for the town, 26 for the village, with a total of 49. Fire for the town, 7, village 8, total of 15. Motor vehicle, 5 in the town, 0 in the village, and a total of 5. That would leave monthly totals for April at 35 for the town, 34 for the village, and 69 total calls. And I was able to tally a quick total year-to-date, calendar year-to-date, 132 total calls for the town, 133 total calls for the village, with a grand total of 265 calls year-to-date. Do not have a percentage as compared to last year as of yet. Next, we got some personnel changes for recently. We have 2 new members elected by the fire department. That would first be Saul Freeman as a probationary firefighter and Matthew Miller as a firefighter. I'd like to make a motion to approve the membership of both mentioned members.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted.
We also received the resignation of the fire chief, Rick Dorr, recently. And then on Friday night, the fire department met and elected a new chief, which would be Kevin Asher. That will leave the first assistant chief position vacant at the time, which will likely be decided at the June meeting. So I'd like to make a motion to approve Kevin Asher as the chief of the Rhinebeck Fire Department.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you, Kevin, for being willing to take the job on. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Kevin.
Thanks.
That'd sum it up for the fire department.
That's it. Kevin, you got anything you want to share with us?
No, if you had any questions, I was here to answer. Other than that, we had a good month, 69 calls, and we're still in good shape. So.
Okay, well, 0 calls would be a real good month. But
We try to keep down as best we can.
yeah. Okay, thanks. All right, street department, Howie.
Okay, the street department has been mowing and cleaning the parks and spreading the mulch. They're picking up the brush and debris, and once again, Mike would like me to say that they don't take the grass because DEC regulates what they can take, and grass is not permitted. I assume because of, it might have some pesticides in it, chemicals in it. So please don't put grass out. And Mike is also asking me not to put the mulch near the storm drains. He takes a lot of pictures of mulch being piled right next to the storm drains, and obviously it gets washed into the storm drain system. We spent a lot of money last year cleaning them out, so if you could please put your brush, leave it on your lawn. That's the best place to put it. Catch basins are being repaired, with the worst ones being done first. Mike met with blacktop contractors for the bids. We're planning to pave South Parsonage Street. I got a couple bids. I don't know if you wanted to. We need to get another one, right?
The only thing I've really seen is from Stat, right?
Yeah, another one
He told
came
me
in.
it was-
AC Smith.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay, well,
He said he was reaching out to Colarusso and somebody else, too.
mhm.
So,
Can we do this with just an RFPs, or do we need to do the closed bidding process?
well, the problem we've had here is that we received a bid from Stat, and it was well above the $35,000 limit, but they included the price of the blacktop with it. And my question is how the specifications are being sent to the contractors that we're discussing this with, because there shouldn't be confusion and everybody should be bidding the job to the same spec as to the length of the road and the number of driveways that have to be blended and to the width of the road, storm drains that have to be addressed, those types of things. So we need to get together with Mike and we need to talk about specifications with him and make sure every contractor gets the same spec so that when it comes to the table, we're comparing apples to apples. Now, we have the ability, Rich, do we have the ability to separate the purchase of the blacktop out from the paving contract?
Bid.
So we can't buy it under state bid ourselves and then have them do the labor?
I got to look at it and take.
All right.
It's the first time
Let me know on that.
Yeah.
All right. And what we should do is, if we have to go out to bid, we have to advertise for bid. Originally what we asked Mike to do was draw the spec and get a cost estimate so we knew how much we were facing so we could figure out whether we had to go out to bid on it. So it seems quite obvious we're going to have to go out to bid.
And you would want to ask the engineer to write the specs for it.
No, we don't need it.
It's expensive.
Okay.
Because I couldn't figure out
To be continued then.
what this means here. I don't have trouble.
No, I can understand it. If you want, we can sit down and I'll explain it to you.
And we appreciate the extra work you're doing on this too.
Who, me?
Yeah, because it keeps going on.
Yeah, we want to get something
Well,
done this year.
and, yeah, and the thing is, we got to try and get this together so that
Yeah.
we can get this thing done. We want to do this project while school's closed. It's got to happen between the end of the third week in June and the beginning of September.
Right.
You know?
Okay. Mulch sales are very high, and everyone seems to like our mulch. We still have more, but it's going fast. It's $20 a yard.
I didn't say I liked your mulch.
Heath, you like our mulch, don't you?
I love it.
Yeah.
I got some left over.
Heath purchased some mulch. The equipment is working well, knock on wood. Blacktop repairs are underway. Ditch lines for the drainage have been cleaned out. Plants are ordered and they will be planted in the coming week. That's to beautify the village. Street cleaning will be done on 523 in the downtown area and for the parade route. It's for Wayne's Parade. You're welcome. That's it for the highway department.
I know I saw a bunch of them over there on the corner by this tree.
Well, I was going
Today.
to talk
Did you
about
hear?
that in the tree
Okay.
report, yeah.
All right. You want to do trees now?
Yeah, let's go right to the trees. Everybody had got the minutes from the trees I emailed you. Some main points are the April planting was very successful. We planted on April 20th. The village dug the holes pretty well there. Planted, I think, 24 trees, give or take a few, don't quote me. We had a lot of help from Daytop, and we had about 15 local volunteers, about 4 or 5 people from Daytop plus 15 other people helping us. I'd like to thank everybody. We had one resignation on the tree committee. Cynthia Fennell resigned due to that she has to take care of out-of-town family business. We have a couple people interested in that vacancy. Actually, we have 2 vacancies now with the resignation of Jason Hemenick last month. So we have 2 vacancies on the tree commission if anybody's interested. The question to me was, do they have to fill out an official application?
They should submit a letter of interest to serve on the tree commission and state whatever qualifications they feel they have that apply. We don't have an official application.
I didn't think we did. State qualifications. Okay. Right before our meeting, about 2 hours before our meeting, we had 2 applications for tree removals, and we're still investigating them, but there's one here that is a little controversial. That's the one this letter that we got. Everybody got a copy of that letter? There's one on 38, here it is right here. $38 Chestnut Street. It's on the corner of Mulberry and Chestnut Street. And A lot of the residents wrote a letter saying that they do not want to see the tree go, but we are having it analyzed by a couple of arborists.
They were there today.
They were there today.
Yeah, I saw Cecily and
Yeah.
a tree company, and Mike was there, and a bunch of the neighbors were standing around, right around 1 o'clock. My
Yeah.
question is, it says I'm writing in protest to the removal. Have we made the decision to remove the tree? I
No,
didn't think
no,
we
no,
did.
no. Maybe she should say pending removal or possible removal.
How did the tree come to the tree commission's attention? Was it because of this letter, or?
No, it was a letter from the homeowner. She turned it into you around, 3:30 that same night that we had our tree commission meeting, so we didn't get to
Okay.
look at the
So
tree.
the village board hasn't even talked about this yet, right?
No, we haven't talked
Okay.
about it.
All right.
The tree commission has not determined yet if it should be taken down, because we have a couple
I don't know
people.
if anybody's been over there, but
No.
there's a big branch on the east side of the tree that got cut off. All right, and there's like a stub there, and then the left side of the tree, the east side of the tree comes out into the street. There are cables up in the top of it, cabling it together to help support it, but the tree looks perfectly healthy to me.
Yeah, there's a few dead branches up there. It's been, tree commission initially recommended that the tree stay and have a professional cut out the dead wood, few the dead wood, and maybe trim the one side so it's not top-heavy on that one side on going over the road, because the other side's all cut.
It's on the sidewalk on the median property. It's not on
It's in the strip between the sidewalk and the road.
Right.
Yeah. So the homeowner has requested this tree come down?
Yeah, the homeowners requested it,
Okay.
and apparently she has professional.
Because this
who
made it
looked at
sound like we had already decided to remove it.
Well, the homeowner told this person that it was coming down, so. They-
Okay.
There's a little controversy going on in the
Thanks for
neighborhood.
the clarification.
There's about 12 signatures on here from people in the neighborhood that want to keep the tree.
Okay.
Howie, I have a question. On the north side of East Market Street, there was a lot of work done lately to beautify the wells of the trees by raising, they put stone in there, brick, and then now they're putting a piece of metal in there to raise it even further. And I
Wait, where is
suspect-
this?
Right in front of the hardware store.
The hardware store and.
Ariel, you know where they put the bricks around the tree?
Yeah, well, there's another letter here. Did you see the other
Now,
letter?
to me, this is just going to exacerbate the problem in the long run, because you keep on piling soil on there, and the roots just want to go where the soil is. They're gonna raise that up. Has the tree commission taken a position on that?
We haven't talked about that, no. But there's another issue here where somebody fell. I don't know if you want to talk
Yeah.
about this now. This was going to be in other business, I guess.
That's an insurance business, right?
Well, we could go, a letter like that, the insurance company gets notified. You know? I mean, my belief is you gotta pay attention to where you're walking, you know?
There was an IRS, right?
Yeah,
right,
yeah, in
yeah,
another
I
location, yeah,
yeah.
somebody tripped on the bricks that were out
If you're
there.
walking around and not looking where you're going.
Well,
be
we have
very
bricks
easy to
across
trip
the
over
street that
something
go
like
around that tree, and they're actually for safety, because that sidewalk was raised and it was a tripping hazard, and now you have to watch where you're walking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
But, on the north side, now we're
I
building.
mean, it's not that the sidewalk's defective, it's that there's a tree well. And if you trip over it, whose responsibility is that? Ours?
Well, it's not a tree well, actually, there's stone sticking out, slate sticking up.
Yeah, it's to form a
It's a
tree well.
stone tree well.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we better ask Rich. Is the village,
Well, I mean,
Liable?
again, if there's any notices that have been filed, you file them with the village, you refer to the insurance company. You don't need to debate it here.
okay. There's one application that we did approve of taking down of a tree, David Miller, 93 East Market Street. There's three cherry trees, say that fast, all in a row.
Three cherry trees, three cherry trees.
And the one in the middle has died, so we recommend that they take the dead cherry tree down. And
So,
it's,
are you making motions on this?
yeah,
All right.
I make a motion that we take the one cherry tree down at 93 East Market Street,
Is there
on
a
the
second?
Mulberry side of the house.
Is there a second?
second,
Any discussion?
this is gonna be done internally, right?
Yeah, it's a small tree, the highway
Okay.
crew can do it.
Good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted.
There's one thing also that I note here, that the tree commission is concerned that the Lions Club would like to expand the parking at the mini park and possibly take down a few trees. I see Mr. Chesney's here from the Lions Club.
You're concerned?
Well, yeah, the tree commission. They don't feel that it's necessary to expand the parking. They never noticed any shortage of parking. If you go by during the day, there's no cars there.
Okay. That's the village board's decision. It's your park. The Lions Club maintains it. There are times when it's used more. I think, I don't know if you're looking at it at this time of year, if you're going to look at it more in the summer, but
When
that's
we
your
had
decision.
discussed this at the prior meeting, the way we had left it was that the Lions Club should request it of the village board, and then the village board will make a determination on whether they want to do it or not. That's how the process should go.
Okay.
It hasn't even been proposed to the village board yet. So far, it's an informal discussion.
Yeah, I think we did talk about it at our last meeting of the Lions Club. I think everybody's agreement that it was a good idea to add 3 or 4 spots there
Yeah.
so that cars could get off the road as children were exiting their vehicles. They wouldn't be getting out into the road. That was one of our discussions, and I think we also had a discussion about the fence. So I think
Yep.
we have to come to you with
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
So,
don't do anything with the fence until we decide if we're going to do something with the parking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Then you can go back to the tree commission and ask them.
It's just part of my report. I had to report it.
Okay.
I wondered if we couldn't add parallel parks. Well, there, you have the 3 vertical, and then you have kind of a shoulder that doesn't look like it's quite wide enough for parallel parking, but we could add the parks along there and then keep the trees the way they are.
The only thing to consider is if you're putting parallel parking in, is if the spot is set back far enough, so you're not opening the door into traffic and kids are jumping
Right.
out into the traffic.
Right.
You know, pulling straight in off the road, at least then when the kids get out, they're protected by the vehicle.
True,
So,
but
you know, if the Lions Club does send us the request, then we'll address it.
Okay. That's it for me.
Okay. Planning and zoning. Brant, you got anything?
I don't have anything except, are we advertising for the vacancy from Carol Meldron on the zoning board of appeals, or?
I had thought that there was some correspondence that said they were going to discuss it internally and then get back to us,
Okay,
the zoning board. You know, to my knowledge, that hasn't happened.
okay.
All right. I know Colton Johnson had sent, did you see that email Colton Johnson had sent
No,
about some suggested names?
no.
No?
No.
I'll forward it to you.
Okay,
But I think what happened, he sent this email and then they were all going to talk. you know.
okay.
And we did put something out that we were looking for somebody, didn't we?
No, I didn't
No?
know. I wasn't told to.
Yeah, we should put some type of a notification out, something, could get something on the website too. That, you know, there's a vacancy. Anyone interested can submit a letter of interest and a resume. And then again, under planning and zoning, I'll talk to Bob Fennell about this issue on 47 West Market Street.
Yeah, I was
All right.
gonna go in there and root around and look at the
Yeah.
site plan approval and stuff too.
Yeah.
so.
And I'll see Bob on Thursday, and I'll ask him to get going on it.
Okay.
Okay? All right, police and court. Everybody have the incident report? Any questions? It's actually, call volume seems to have slowed down a little bit here in the last month or so, which is a good thing. Okay, Wayne, what do you got for us?
I'm very excited to report to the board that I feel that our police officer will be moving into our new building probably within the next 10 days to 2 weeks. Finally. The construction process is completed. Our building inspector has inspected the building, and there were 4 issues that the building inspector brought forward in regard to giving us a certificate of occupancy. One was a trip hazard at the front sidewalk. The other was the location of the condensing units on the south side of the building. One was the handicap parking area, and the other was with the balancing of the heating and air conditioning units. I can tell you that as we are here this evening, 3.5 of those scenarios have been rectified. As you well know, the sidewalk issue has been resolved. It's poured today. I've inspected it, and it does meet code, and I anticipate that our building inspector will approve it. The condensing units have been moved and relocated to meet code. The handicap parking area has been widened to meet code specifications, and the balancing of the air conditioning and heating units has been completed, other than we do have one other issue with the heating scenario, which I believe will be completed within the next day or so. So I anticipate that we will have a certificate of occupancy presented to us from our building inspector probably by the end of the week. There are some other issues that we do need to address. Myself and Pete Dunn and our architect Phil Zemke have done a complete detailed inspection of the building, and we did prepare a punch list of a variety of issues that we felt need to be rectified, not only from our general contractor, Meyer Contracting, but also from the electrical contractor and the HVAC contractor and the plumbing contractor. I can tell you that for the most part, they have been rectified. However, we're not totally there yet. We have some issues, but they're minor. I have been in contact with our prime contractors on a daily basis to ensure that we get these things done. And I anticipate that we probably will be in a move-in scenario sometime mid-next week. Pete is aware of that scenario, and he's doing what he needs to do to ensure that the phone systems and the security systems are molded together so that we have a good transition into moving forward, moving into the building. The other issue I just mentioned to you briefly, that we do not at present have our emergency generator in place, which will not prevent us from moving into the building or prevent us from getting a certificate of occupancy. And I did make a phone call a couple of weeks ago to Protective Power, who is supplying that. They told me that we would probably have it by the end of this week. I called again today. I did not get a return phone call as of yet, but I will continue to pursue information in that regard. But again, that's not going to prevent us from moving in. So I really feel confident that we're going to be moving in, I would say, sometime in the middle of next week. I anticipate that that the transition will take place, which is I'm very, very happy about. So
we all are.
Yeah.
Wayne, nothing to do with getting into the building, but this morning I happened to be here and talked to Mike Wolf, and he mentioned to me there's a drain out there just about here in front of the building that drains into a manhole just where the curb is.
Right. And
apparently that drain is not working.
Right, and we're on top of that. And that actually has been an issue that Michael Wolf has been, it's been his pet peeve for quite some time. And
there was a piece of fabric inside underneath that thing to keep debris from falling in there during installation process.
Right.
And it was not removed, and it was removed today.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there was water sitting in there.
Right.
It was not running out.
Yeah, it looks like it's clogged, but it's just.
Yeah, it's not.
I poked it.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, and I had our engineers look at that, and Mike Wolf had actually brought that to my attention several weeks ago. He was concerned about the fact that it was too low and things of that sort, but I had a conversation with our engineers about it.
The other thing is on the, I guess where your septic field is there.
Mhm.
There seems to be a lot of water collecting there.
Yeah, and that's an issue that, again, our contractors really had nothing to do with that. I mean, their responsibility was to create a paved parking area to the existing parking area. And that's an existing condition that, we perhaps may want to address. It was there before, it's there now.
But now there is a septic field there.
Well, yeah, but the water, standing water here is not really in the area of our
field's always
septic
been there.
system at all, so.
Yeah, we didn't put a septic system in with this, we just tied into what was there.
Right, well, we put a dry well, and we put a major tank in there, but that standing water is not in the area of the tank, so.
I mean, if you go out there and look, this is just a low spot.
Right.
A lot.
Yeah. It's an existing condition, so, again, that's not a scenario that our contractors were responsible for, so we'll deal with that as we go forward. The issues that we're going to face as we go forward, the trailer is going to be moved out. The construction trailer has been disconnected from an electrical standpoint today. That will be moved out in the next day or so. And so that area in the rear portion where the staging area was done has been cleaned up. So the scenarios that we're going to deal with as we go forward are the dismantling of the handicap ramp at the existing trailer, which I'll work with, and we'll get that dealt with. Then we have the disconnection of the electrical supply to the temporary trailer and the water supply to the temporary trailer, and then ultimately the removal and the ceasing of the rental of the trailer, which I will be involved in and talk to, make sure everything happens in a good scenario. So once that happens, I think we're in good shape. I still have not, at this point, moved the insurance from right now we're in a construction risk scenario. Until we actually move in, I've already set it all up with our insurance agent, so the day before we move into the structure, we'll switch that over. That's all in place, and I think after that, we're good.
So when is the party?
I think the board should consider, having some type of a groundbreaking or a ribbon cutting ceremony.
Plan is to do a dedication, but until the CO is issued and Pete's in there and settled in, we're not going to schedule anything, but probably sometime in June.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Great. Okay.
All right.
So, unless anybody has any questions, I'll continue to pursue getting us in there and removing our existing temporary scenario. And
okay. Thanks, Wayne.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Next item is dog report. We got anything, Lisa? I didn't see one. Yeah. Okay. This is for March. Some calls about Mr. Arnold on Mulberry Street at number 37, lets his dog bark to annoy his neighbors. Let's tell a dog to go out there and bark. That was the complaint. Now a new complaint is that the dog in question is being abused. I have not seen this myself. Someone is going to have the SPCA investigate him. I haven't heard any more about it. No dogs have been picked up and no charges have been made. Committee reports. Tree Commission we already did. Website. Anybody got anything? Finance and Controls. Anything? No. Okay. Other business. Municipalities. Shared services. Just to bring you guys up to date. I was at Dutchess County Mayors and Supervisors last week, and of course the county is offering this shared services program. When they did the reduction in the sales tax, they took $2 million and set it aside, and there are grant opportunities available to municipalities to look into sharing services. So there is an effort underway to get a bunch of municipalities, and I believe there's 10 that have agreed. And I said that we were interested to look into updating and going with the latest and the greatest in the way of planning and zoning software. No charge to us. The grant would pay for it. We have then, in the future, would be responsible for maintenance and those types of things. But the implementation would be covered by the grant from the county. So, like I said, I believe out of all the communities in Dutchess County, there's about 10, I think, that are going to participate in it. The same company that does our software for us now, which Dodd Crane formerly owned, but he sold the business, but he's still involved with them, is doing it. It's in the process now where the grant proposal is being put together, and then there is the need for, at some point, for a resolution. I was sent a sample resolution, but that's only for participation. It doesn't really spell out the details of the financial part of it. So at this point in time, I don't think we're really ready to do anything. But at some point here, we're going to need to do it pretty soon because the grant application will have to get in. So if I need to, I'll call a special meeting and we can just come in and formalize it. All right. The other thing is the town is proposing a technology upgrade and wants to know if the village wants to partner. And the same thing, this grant application will go to the county and it'll be part of this shared services thing. And what they're proposing is updating the computer systems, making it so that it's Wi-Fi capable, and it would be for both the town and the village. There may be a part on us to help out as far as making the connectivity between the two buildings. There was talk about perhaps there being a pipe that runs underneath the ground between the two buildings already. We got to go down in the basement and see if we can find anything like that. But Elizabeth Spinzia was working with Jim Jeffries from Northeast Computer Services, who does the town's work and also does our work. Jim and Kevin do our work, and trying to put this whole grant proposal together. So the town has developed what they consider to be their objective of doing this, but the grant proposal isn't finalized yet. So there'll be more to come on that. So that's what I have on municipalities shared services. Oak Street parking is the next issue. Chris had come to our, I guess it was the night we approved the budget, correct? Yeah, and spoken with us. Same problem, that we have over here at 47 West Market Street is that some of the people that are come to work there don't use the facility's parking lot, that they park on the street and leave their cars there all day long. We do have a 2-hour parking restriction in the business district, but it's spelled out clearly as to where it starts and where it ends. And 46 West Market Street doesn't have it, correct?
It has it just to Oak Street. 47 does have it to the corner of Oak Street, but it doesn't.
No, I'm saying 46, out on 308.
Oh, correct.
Right? 46 doesn't have it. Yeah. And then Oak Street, from the corner of Oak Street to the end of 47 West Market Street's property, the mental health clinic doesn't have it. So Chris is asking us, because he conducts a business there and has people coming and going for funerals, that the parking spots should be available and that the people at 47 West Market Street, the employees, should be parking in their parking lot or utilizing the village parking lot if they can't park in that parking lot. And we need to enforce this 2-hour parking restriction within the village. So if this board needs to determine if they want to pursue this, and if we're going to, it means holding a public hearing, advertising the public hearing and having people come comment, and then we would amend the vehicle and traffic law to provide for these restrictions in those two areas. Chris, you want to come up? Sure.
Yep. It sounds like it's me.
No, it's not just you.
I think it impacts all the businesses.
You were just the one that brought it to us.
Yeah, I brought it to you, but it's not just because I have cars that come and go, but I think it impacts all of, my neighbor businesses as well as some of the residents on Oak Street that may have guests coming and going and they have nowhere to park on the street because it is only parking on one side of the street on Oak Street. So just, and we're becoming a busy community, so people should come and go and not be able to park all day. in a business district.
Yeah.
That's my opinion,
Well,
and my request.
And you know, with our history in the Chamber of Commerce, this has been an issue for years.
Absolutely,
You know?
yeah.
It's continual,
Yep.
you know, where we talk about 2-hour parking restrictions. So, yep. Vicki, were you here on behalf of the Chamber to talk about this at all?
Well, not so
No?
much the parking, so,
Did Mike address the board about
Yeah.
what he said? Oh, he was here earlier?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a whole contingent from Oak Street that was here, and we're going to follow. Yeah, we're going to follow through on it. Yeah. Vicki, did you have something to talk about?
if it was about parking, that wasn't necessarily what we wanted to bring.
Okay, all right, let us finish up on this and then,
Yeah.
okay? Okay, so the idea is here, if we're going to pursue this, we need to schedule a public hearing.
Do we have any other parking issues?
I was just thinking the same thing, and get it all done at
These
once.
seem to come up a lot
Yeah.
sometimes.
That I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
I think we've pretty much done all our, no parking here to corner signs and no parking here to driveway signs. I can't think of any other areas where it's needed.
Well, if we
I'll
think of
entertain
anything
it.
in the meantime, we can bring it up, right?
What's up?
If we think of anything in the meantime?
Yes.
We can bring it up at the public hearing?
Could you make the hearing more general?
You just gotta be
If you're
real.
gonna hold- If you're gonna hold a public hearing to amend your code, you have to have the code, you know, the amendments published beforehand.
Okay.
You gotta know where you want to do it.
Then we've gotta do those slip pages with the publisher of the book. It's kind of
Mhm.
expensive.
Yep. Yep.
Should we wait?
Do we want to schedule it now, or do you want to take a little
Maybe we
bit
should
more
wait,
time
because
to
we're gonna
think about
have
it?
fairground zoning and, I mean, that,
Yeah, I don't know
well,
if
that's
we
gonna
want to
take
wait
a
that
while.
long. You know?
Is this 47 West Market Street issue coming, Oak Street issue coming up, going to be part of that rezoning?
Part of what
Well,
rezoning?
when we
don't
talk
have a
about,
rezoning.
no, when I'm talking about getting the, what is his name, Fennell, to look at what's going on in the mental health facilities.
Well,
Is there going to be is there going to be a connection there with the parking?
there's going to be, will be some discussion about parking, but the point is that unless there's a restriction on the parking, anybody can park there anytime they want, for as long as they want.
Right. But I'm saying that.
You know, if you don't have any regulation, you can't force anybody to do anything. You know, you can only suggest to them that your employees should be parking in your parking lot, but without a restriction of 2 hours,
You can't do that.
they can park it there all day long, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it, you know?
Yeah, the Oak Street issue should be a planning and zoning issue and not a code revision, so.
Well, see, that's where I don't agree with you, because if we want to limit the parking in that area, we need to have a regulation that's going to limit it.
No, I know what I'm.
Otherwise, people just park there.
No, I thought he was asking about that whole use issue.
Well, the use issue
Is
will
gonna
make,
be, is
the
not.
use
gonna-
issue could turn into that it's not an allowed use.
Right.
And there may need to be a site plan approval, or there may be the elimination of it totally. But the point being is that if we don't put a 2-hour restriction there, going forward, anybody can go park there for as
No,
long
I
as they
know.
want.
No, I was just trying to.
I don't think the two are related, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I was
You know?
saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you want to do? Do you want to try and attempt to set up a date for a public hearing now, or do you want to wait a little bit while, in case we have anything else we want to talk about?
I think we should wait and see if, really look and see if we have any other spots, because
Okay.
every time we do this.
So what everybody needs to do is kind of keep their eyes
Look
open as
around.
they're in the
Yeah,
village.
Yeah.
And be prepared when we have our next meeting to talk about it, and get something scheduled. Okay?
So this, how far up Oak Street does this proposal?
Then we go up to Michael Gee's property line. Basically the property that the mental health clinic owns.
Till the end of that property?
Yeah. There's a fence there.
On both
between-
sides?
No. No, because there's no parking on the other side of the street.
Oh, so not on the Chesney side?
Yeah, there's no parking on the other side of the
Okay,
street.
still no parking on the other side?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Oak Street's only one side of the street parking.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. All right. We've got that mini park lot issue on here, but as I said, we have not received anything from the Lions Club yet. I thought we were going to have something. All right, correspondence. Had received something from the Dax Law Firm, PC, in Albany, New York, and they are representing West Point Partners LLC, and there's a planned electronic transmission line that is going to be buried in the Hudson River. And they are notifying us of that because of the fact that we have a utility in the river, RE, our water intake pipe. Heinz and I had both discussed this, and Heinz had provided those folks with the information on the location. All right? So what this basically says is public service law requires that we provide a copy of the application for the CEC and PN application to the chief executive officer of each municipality in which any portion of the line would be located, and to each member of the legislature in whose district any portion of the line would be located. We expect to file the application in June 2013. In hard copy, paper format, we expect the application to consist of 2 large binders. We are writing now to inquire whether you would prefer to receive a hard copy or a CD of the application. What's your pleasure? It's your water intake.
CD.
CD? All right. I will call them and let them know. Dutchess County Sheriff's Office received May 9th. Law enforcement agencies, government offices, friends and family, dear colleagues, family and friends. Please join the staff of the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office on May 22nd, 2013 at 9:30 a.m. for a brief remembrance ceremony and tribute to Sheriff's Office members that gave their life in the line of duty and members that are no longer with us. There is no better way to remember and show support for each other than to come together and share a few moments of time and fellowship. Sincerely, Sheriff Adrian H. Anderson. Pete and I are going to plan on attending as long as schedule works out. Anybody else is interested in going, let me know. Good Shepherd Church received May 10th. Dear members of the board, once again I ask approval for our church to have a procession down Mulberry Street to Livingston Street, turning right on Livingston Street, proceeding to Parsonage Street, turning right on Parsonage Street, and continuing to South Street, then back up Mulberry to the church. The procession takes no more than 40 to 45 minutes and has very little impact on traffic. With this in mind, I am asking for permission to have this procession, excuse me, on Sunday, June 2nd, 2013, beginning at 1:15 p.m. I thank you for considering this in a timely manner. Father Jeffrey R. Galens.
How many of these positions are there a year?
They have one.
Well, I saw one at Easter.
We have 2.
Two?
Right? We have 2. Palm Sunday and this one.
So we approved one already this year?
That one just crosses the street. Yeah, that one just goes from Father Brogan Center to the church.
I don't think we even get a letter on that one, do we?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah. I think we only approve one a year for them.
It doesn't go all the way around, it just goes from Father Brogan Center to the church.
I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So voted. May 13th, Rhinebeck Village Board. This is from the Rhinebeck Central School District, in particular the Board of Education, and it's about their annual banners that they put up for graduation. Did everybody get it? Oh, okay, so you guys are aware of it. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So voted.
Did the winter market banners come down?
Got to check on that. All right, and then we got a, this is pretty catchy. We got a letter from Get Your Guts in Gear, the ride for Crohn's and colitis. Apparently, there's a bicycle ride that's going to be held, but this doesn't impact any of the village streets. This is all in the town, right, Lisa? We verified that?
I gave a copy to Pete, too, so.
Yeah, and Pete is aware of it, so we really don't need to take any action because it doesn't
I gave it to him
really impact
because it coincides with the country living.
Right.
So.
Yeah. If anybody's interested in that report from the town, I can make copies of this on the technology upgrade. All right, Vicki, what do you got for us?
I guess I was
Got to come to the microphone. State your name for the record.
Vicki Hack, and I'm no longer the president of the chamber, but
Immediate past president.
Immediate past president. Own a business in town. I also, or in the village. I also own a home in the village, and I wasn't aware that Mr. Gee had, presented his concerns earlier. So Colleen wasn't able to be here, the executive director of the chamber. So we would just like to, not now, but just present some comments to the board with regard to our concerns about the change in use for the venue of the county building and the impact that it not only has on businesses and residents, but also people coming to our community. And also, if these individuals are not supervised, that they're also at risk too for, their safety is at risk also. Mm-hmm. And just to perhaps, I don't know if it should be presented to, with a letter to Mark Molinaro about it, but we'd like to participate in coming to a resolution.
All right, the preliminary information, what it appears to be is the county does not own that building.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's owned by a private property owner, the same gentleman that owns the office park out by Wonderland,
Mm-hmm.
all right? And the county was leasing the space.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what the relationship is as far as, we know, basically, because Mike Gee had found out, who's operating out of the building, but we don't know the relationship as them, as tenants, maybe as sublease or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So what we need to do is have Bob Fennell, zoning enforcement officer, contact the property owner and make a determination of what the actual arrangement is. Is it between him and these organizations that are operating? Is it between him and the county? And now the county has, and then we have to figure out where we go from there. Mm-hmm. It's clearly a change of use.
Mm-hmm.
So the zoning law applies. Mm-hmm. And if there was a change of use, it should have come for site plan approval. And the determination should have been made whether the use is appropriate for the location in the village, and none of that happened. Mm-hmm. We saw, and I say I saw a change in the clients, definitely, but wasn't aware there was a change in the operation. And now this has all come to the front. And I mean, there's a lot of people have expressed verbal concerns. It isn't until recently that we really got anything in writing, and that was when Mike brought in his letter yesterday. I had received another letter from a lady on Oak Street within the last week, but we had never received anything in writing. Mike did an awful lot of background work to find out what's actually going on there, and we have to now move forward on it and figure this all out.
Yeah.
Okay, but we have concerns too.
Yeah, I just personally, in moving through town for lunch and post office and all, had to intervene with a young mother with two little kids, one in a stroller, who was being harassed by one of the, not residents, but one of the attendees there for money, and it was very unsettling for her, and so it was just a matter of her getting her kid in the stroller and asking that gentleman to leave her alone.
Right.
So.
And as I explained to the folks from the neighborhood, they should not hesitate to reach out to the village board, but if they have a problem, the first thing they should do, if it's serious, is call the police. And they can call the Rhinebeck Police Department, they can call the state police. I mean, we're here in the village, so we can respond quickly.
Okay.
And that should be the first. I mean, I've said it time and time again. Our biggest responsibility is the safety and the welfare of the community. So this is something we're going to look into and we'll take care of.
Okay, thank you.
And Jim, I'll just bring. I received a letter from an attorney for the landlord because there was a parking issue. Some of my clients were going in there to park, so they sent me a letter, and it does indicate that the property is leased to Dutchess County. So
Okay.
I'll bring a letter to that to Lisa, and she can share it with you, a copy
Okay.
of it, and that'll be something you can pursue.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
I was in the wrong, just saying, my people were parking. We tried.
Thanks for your honesty. All right. Any other correspondence, Lisa? I don't have any.
I got three other ones here.
How come you don't have these in? She
I don't
made
know.
copies, she made copies for them.
What, these things?
Well, the Rhinebeck exchange, I don't know if you need that, but, and then it's the one from Bren.
All right, well, this isn't anything that takes any action on our part.
Okay.
And this, I'm looking into, like, Rich and I were down there tonight talking about it.
Okay. Then that's it.
What do you got?
No, that's, he's already done.
Yeah, okay. What about this?
That was already done.
We answered them, we're not interested in anything.
Foreclosure?
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
interested in.
And then there's, somebody wants $100.
That one's done too.
It's done? So why is it done?
Listen
Yeah.
to me about it today.
We don't make donations. Taxpayers get to make donations with their money, we don't get to make them with the taxpayers' money. Anything else?
We have the insurance, the NIMIR, and then the workman's comp stuff. Is Heath looking into the
Yes.
potential insurance savings?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
That's something I should report to you guys. The Dutchess County mayors and supervisors last week, the county is offering to share in their workman's comp plan.
Yeah.
They're self-insured, managed by a third party, 100-year-old company, very good reputation. City of Beacon signed on and took a 57% reduction in their workman's comp.
Nice.
Amenia signed on and took a 72% reduction in their workman's comp. So I spoke with Rebecca White, who is heading the program up for the county, and she told me what we need to provide them in order for them to look into this, and Heath's going to follow up with her. So that was another part of the meeting last week.
There's also something going on with the town. They are changing their insurance company. And I think I sent you something.
Yeah, the NIMIR stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
So what
Heath
kind
met
of-
with them.
What kind of insurance is NIMIR?
Liability.
Liability,
Right,
okay.
Yeah, there are he has other options for comp, but probably the county program would be.
This is gonna be better. Yeah, good, thanks.
So it's all stuff we can work on for the next few months and be prepared for January, which is right around the corner when we start our budget process.
Again, yeah.
Enjoy the summer first.
All right. That's it?
No one else.
Any water and sewer adjustments, Hans?
I have not received any.
Okay. Vouchers are ready to be approved. We need an executive session for personnel matters.
I make a motion to go to executive session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So voted.
Can we afford it?
Okay, I need a motion to resume regular session.
Second motion.
We gotta close it. We gotta close it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. All right, need a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So voted. Any other business? Need a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
You don't keep minutes
So
of
voted.
executive sessions.
Thank you.
I know, thank God.